And welcome back to another episode of Too Much Podsar. Today is August 19th, and I'm back with another DFS pod for you today for tonight's slate. Tonight's 7:05 slate. There's 11 games under the slate, so definitely a good slate. A lot of good pitching matchups. A lot of potential to see low-scoring games, maybe, but also high-scoring games. There's a couple in there that the offenses could bash. So get to those later with stacks, of course. Always. I'm here by myself today, so going solo. Your host, Alex Kielar. Um, but yeah, I'm just gonna roll right into it. Do a little quick, kind of my quick picks here. Of course, with pitchers, you have DeGrom and Cole starting today. They were both supposed to start the last time out, but that was when DeGrom was scratched from the start. I was raving about DeGrom. Well, not really. I guess I mentioned him as a lock, but I raved about him in my article, DFS article, and he ended up being scratched from that game. And same with Montaz. I was raving about him. Montaz isn't getting a start today, but it's Luzardo again. But the obviously DeGrom and Cole are both locks. As pretty much anytime they're on the mound, they're locks. They're gonna be put up big numbers. So they're locks. I don't really have to go into detail about them. They're solid options. Probably what I do is go with one of them and pair with one of the other guys I like. So because I don't want to pay up for both of them, but like maybe mix and match with lineups. If I do more than one lineup, then I'm going to be mixing and matching them. I'll pair DeGrom with somebody else that I like, a value guy like I'm going to mention here. Uh, and then another one I'll go Cole, and then somebody else like maybe the same guy I use with DeGrom, or maybe use somebody else. Depending on how many lines I do, I'm gonna do a bunch of different things like that. Like because those two are both locks, they're both gonna give you solid numbers. Um, and the worry with DeGrom was in the past was if he's gonna be able to get a win with the Mets, not giving him run support, but he's actually been getting the run support a little bit more this year. He got 2 wins on 4 starts. So still putting up the great numbers he always does. 28 strikeouts, .96 whip. So in 22 innings. Um, so he's always going to be great. But some of the other guys I like besides those two locks, um, I like Chris Paddock against the Rangers. He's coming off a rough outing last time out, 6 earned runs on 6 hits, 3 home runs, a walk, only 1 strikeout, and only 3 innings pitched against the Dodgers. That was the Dodgers. He was obviously the Dodgers lineup is always tough, always really tough. We always talk about them being a stack. Of course, you're always gonna have that as an option to stack. Of course, they're also the more expensive stack, and they're also going to be their ownership is probably going to be up a little bit, maybe, but maybe more expensive. I mean, obviously more since they're more expensive, maybe more people won't. But anyway, with Paddock, he's facing the Rangers, who we've talked about plenty of times that their offense has been really bad this year, and I think he could Paddock can get a bounce back start here. Before that start, he was doing pretty solid. He had 14.6 points on DraftKings his start before. He went 5 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks, and he didn't give up any walks the 2 starts before that. He faced the Dodgers the one before that one, which was on August 3rd, and he went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, and 5 strikeouts. And then his first start of the year, July 29th, he went 5, struck out 6, no walks, um, and just 2 runs, 6 hits. So he was good. He's obviously he has the stuff. He's a good pitcher, good young pitcher. He's still learning, so I think he's just have a little bit of a rough patch there. The last start out time out, that was in Dodger Stadium too, so it was tough. It's always tough with that lineup, as I said. So I think he's going to bounce back today. Uh, Maybe probably put up more strikeouts. He only had one the last start, so I think he's going to put more strikeouts up, especially against the lineup in the Rangers, who's been not that great, and I really like him to do that. So yeah, definitely a very solid value play. Only 7,700. Just the way I think he's going to be trending upwards a little bit more, and he's actually, his start was pushed back. He was scheduled to start just a couple days, or yesterday. I think he was scheduled to start yesterday, or the day before he was supposed to start. It was pushed back, so I think maybe the extra time in between starts is going to help him because now it's been 6 days since his last start. So I think that's going to help him. The extra day there in between. Well, obviously, yeah. So he was supposed to scheduled to start yesterday. It would have been 5 days in between. So I think the extra time is going to help him a lot. Extra day to rest and be able to shut down this pretty porous Rangers lineup. So yeah, he's an option that I really like. I like Rich Hill against the Brewers, who almost got no hit yesterday. Kenta Maeda took it into the ninth inning, but he forget who broke it up, but it was with no outs in the ninth inning, he ended up leading off, giving up a hit in that inning. So, but I like Rich Hill. He's coming off the IL. He was on the 10-day IL after a shoulder injury. They activated him to start today. So he's missed 3 turns around the rotation. He only started one game, but in that game he went 5. Just gave up 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. That might be the issue though. If you can't get the strikeouts up, you're not going to get as many points. But he definitely can not definitely limit the Brewers' offense. But that's also maybe a little bit riskier too because the Brewers almost got no hit. I think maybe they'll come out and get some better offense. They'll be kind of they'll be probably have a little bit extra motivation to get the offense, especially against the pitcher who hasn't pitched in whatever 3 weeks, almost a month. It's been first start was July 29th, so I would use him in maybe cash games, not tournaments. I wouldn't use him in tournaments, but maybe take a flyer on him in cash games, especially against the Brewers offense, who's not been that great. But it's still a riskier pick just because of the fact he hasn't started in a while. The Brewers almost got no hit, and they might have extra motivation. And they did end up actually, tying the game in the ninth inning after breaking up the no hitter. They tied it, ended up going 12 innings. They ended up losing 4-3 in 12, but as the Twins walked it off in the 12th. But they still were able to get some offense there late in the game. But I think Hill will put up some solid numbers, shut them down again. Because it takes, even if they end up going and getting some runs late in the game, he'll probably go at least 6 and maybe hopefully get the win. Let's see here. I also like Aaron Savale against Pittsburgh, 9,800. So he's one of the more expensive options, but lower than Cole and DeGrom, of course, and one below Julio Urias, that's actually probably a solid option too. Against the Mariners, his strikeout numbers are a little bit concerning though. He's only struck out 13 and 21 in the third, so you're not going to get the strikeouts there for him. It's only struck out. The most he struck out in one start was 5. But I mean, against this Mariners offense too. But Mariners actually haven't struck out much, but not that bad again with strikeouts. So you might want to stay away from him because he's more expensive. He's a third on DraftKings, 10,100. Uh, so I would probably stay away just because the strikeout numbers probably won't be there. Um, Aaron Savale, though, I like a lot. 9,800, one below him. Uh, against Pittsburgh, his strikeout numbers are very solid. 26 strikeouts, just 3 walks in 25 innings, over 4 starts. Last start he struggled a little bit. Gave up 4 runs in 6 innings, but that still ended up earning him the win. Uh, Only 3 strikeouts that start, but he was able to get 5 strikeouts the start prior, and uh, he only gave up 1 walk those 2 starts, and then struck out 9 his first 2 starts. So I think he can come back to that form and strike out a lot of guys against Pittsburgh lineup who they actually did score some runs yesterday, but I don't think they're going to be able to. I don't think they can score that many runs, 2 games in a row, because well, they did score 3. They only scored 3 actually yesterday, but it was 3-3 going into extras, which they ended up losing. But yeah, their offense is not that great, so I think Savali, he's been pretty good, um, and I think he'll be able to put up some good strikeout numbers against that lineup, and maybe give up less than 400 runs this time, uh, and end up getting a win again. So I liked him. He's a good option to go with, pair with Cole DeGrom. Uh, uh, and I guess as you go, well, just another note too. Just like yesterday with Tariq Skubal making his debut for the Tigers. Today, Casey Mize makes his debut, um, as they called him up to do that, against the White Sox. So that's another guy you won't go for today, but just keep an eye on him as he moves forward and starts, and see what he does. And maybe if he's still cheap, he's only 6,900 right now, and if he ends up not is still being pretty cheap in his next few starts, that could be an option to go with, depending on how he pitches. So I think he could do a little bit today. Like, he can do some solid things today. Definitely show off his stuff, and probably won't go too deep. Just like Scooble, probably go for 2 to 4 innings, something like that. Probably 50 pitches again, just like Scooble. As it's making his debut. Not gonna push him too far. So that's just a note. Not gonna start him today. Uh, so just guys, definitely stay away from definitely stay away from Tajon Walker against the Dodgers. That's an easy one. Uh, let's see here. I would stay away from any of the pitchers in the Rockies, or both of the pitchers in the Rockies Astros game. You know, it's in Colorado, so that's always the thing you do. Framber Valdez is on the mound for the Astros, and for Colorado, it is Colorado. It's Castellini, Ryan Castellini, or Castellani. I don't know how to say his name, but yeah, both those guys stay away from. I wouldn't want any part of them. Um, and let's see here. It says Eric Fed Eric Fede is starting for the Nationals against the Braves, and that's I would definitely not go with that. Uh, because Steven Strasburg, he's starting in his place because Strasburg has a hand injury, and Fed, he worked in long relief on Friday. He's given up. he's probably not going to go deep. He's going to go like maybe 3-4 innings. Probably be kind of an opener type pitcher. Uh, as kind of a long reliever. He's walked 9 and only struck out 5 over 17 and that's 2/3 innings. And 5 games, 2 of them were starts. 5 earned runs, 6 runs overall. So he against the Braves lineup, he's not going to be able to do much against. He last start when he went 5 1/3 in long relief, he only gave up 2 hits, no earned runs. Did walk 3, didn't strike out any. So I don't. The strikeout numbers definitely won't be there, and definitely not against the Braves lineup. So definitely fade him. Yeah, those are the main guys who definitely stay away from. And I'll probably stay away from Lance Lynn too against the Padres lineup, who's been on fire. Especially Tatis, as we've always talked about. Um, Lance Lynn's been good, but I think he can run into a wall against the Padres lineup. He's struck out 36 over 32 1/3, just 12 walks, only 4 earned runs. So he's been great, but it could be his first, really rough start. He's had, 35.6 points last week or last start, and hasn't had any less than 19.1. But I don't know. I'm not really liking the matchup. Well, he did. The last start was against Colorado, however, at Colorado, and he did that great. He went the distance, and gave up just 1 earned, 6 Ks, no walks. So he could be an option, but I'm not liking him too much. I think he can definitely start to fade a little bit and not be as dominant as he's been. He's definitely somebody you can take a flyer on. Let's see here. We move to hitters here now. The one guy I really like, Juan Soto. He's obviously more of an expensive option at 5,700, but he's been on fire lately. 6 for his last 15, 2 home runs, 1,000 OPS. Or yeah, 6 for his last 15, and then he's against right-handers, 2 home runs, 1,000 OPS, 20. Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, 6 for his last 15 with 2 home runs and those 6 hits. And against right-handers in 2019, he had 1,000 OPS, 28 home runs, and so far in 2020, he has 4 home runs against right-handers, 480 batting average. So he's dominated right-handers, since last year, and then going into this year, he's facing off against Kyle Wright, who hasn't been too great. Strikeout numbers are terrible. He only 12 strikeouts and 16 walks in 15 innings, and he's only gone. Well, he went 6 innings one time, and then other than that, he went 3 1/3, and 2 2/3 in his other 3 starts, and he's given up 4. He gave up 4 earned runs in the game. He went 6 innings against the Phillies. So he's been not great. The Braves pitching staff has been really struggling. So Juan Soto can definitely do damage. He's going to do damage today. So I like that a lot today, especially the way he's been hitting. And then I mentioned Tatis. He's another good option, and he's still pretty cheap. I'm really surprised how cheap he still is. We talked about the other day. We thought he'd be the number 1 shortstop. He'd be the most expensive shortstop on DraftKings, but he's actually the 6th. He's still 4,800, which is pretty cheap. I mean, the way he's been going, I would thought he'd be more. So I would definitely go for him. Um, put him in my lineup because just we obviously know what he's done. Obviously, he's not allowed to hit on 3-0 anymore, but or you're gonna get some babies crying about it. But yeah, facing off against Lynn, and I really like him today. I mean, you have to keep rolling with him, just like you have to pretty much keep rolling with the White Sox stack, which went well yesterday as well. So I like him a lot, but he's behind Correa, Story, Lindor, Seager, and Turner, which is just it's pretty crazy, but I don't know. I mean, it's good because the cheaper it is, the better it is for people playing him because you want to play him. The only thing with that is too, ownership would probably be up because it's a little bit cheaper. Um, but yeah, he's an option there. So I'm just gonna roll through some options too with all the other positions. I had said shortstop. I said one outfielder. Catcher, I like Sanchez again. Mitch Garver is also an option against the Milwaukee. And yeah, Sanchez has been on a roll. He had another home run on Tuesday uh, against Snell. And today he faces Glass now, which is a tougher matchup than Snell is, or Snell was. But I think the role that he's been on, it doesn't really matter who he faces. He's been great. With that home run, uh, he's been very well. Um, and let's see here. I'm trying to look up his numbers against Glass now so far in his career. Oh, he actually only faced him in one game, 3 times, 3 at-bats, 2 hit, but it did have 2 hits. So obviously small sample. So it might be a little bit tougher today with Sanchez. So maybe not go with him potentially because maybe stay away because maybe he sometimes struggles against guys he hasn't faced much. And especially Glass now who's been, you know, you know how who Glasnow is. And of course, he's struggled this year. He's been he's been terrible this year, actually. But he's still a great pitcher. I think he's going to have to bounce back here. But Sanchez is probably a good play there still because Glasnow's been struggling, and he can definitely end up putting a run right over the plate. And Sanchez is another bomb. So, oh yeah, so that was my home run call yesterday too. I forgot about that. Yeah, Sanchez was my home run call yesterday, and I got that one. So, but let's see here. Yeah, like Sanchez, maybe a cheaper option, James McCann, the White Sox against Mize. Um, and then once they get to the bullpen, obviously he's not going to go long, so they'll be able to hit off the bullpen. The White Sox, that is. Uh, if you want to go really cheap, um, could also go potentially with Sean Murphy, the A's 3,400. But I don't usually do that with catchers. Catchers usually I pay up for. Martin Maldonado in Colorado is an option. He's 5,100, so the most expensive option. Uh, but usually I kind of go with either Sanchez or Garver, maybe somewhere around there. Usually not. You can't really go too low with catchers. You have to go pay up for that, and then go more value as you go along. First base, I like. Let's see. I like Luke Voigt. I like Jose Abreu. Voigt's been on a good roll. He's been on a pretty good roll. He had a home run as well on Tuesday. So 4 home runs in his last 10 games, 11 for his last 38. So he's been great for them. He actually went in the. He was actually the leadoff hitter yesterday. So today you'll probably move back into like the 5 or 6 spot, something like that. Maybe even 2 or 3. The way he's been hitting, especially with Judge staying out, of course, he'll probably be a little bit higher than probably 3, 4, 2, whatever. But yeah, I like his potential for today. Only 2 at bats against Glass now. I mean, most of the Yankees lineup hasn't faced him much. So the hitter with the most bats against was Brett Gardner with 4. But I like Pete Alonso against the Marlins and Pablo Lopez. On Monday they faced the Marlins and he went 3 for 3, 2 walks and 2 home runs. So I really like him there. I mean, Lopez is a little bit tougher pitcher than what he faced on Monday, but he's definitely a solid option. He's been hitting well over the last 2 games, 1 for 3 on yesterday. So I like that. I like Daniel Murphy in Colorado, which he's been kind of slowing down a little bit. He was off to such a hot start and started to slow down now. Just 9 for his last 37 of the last 10, 1 home run. But he's a guy you can roll out with maybe, especially in Colorado. Jose Abreu mentioned against the against the Tigers, he's been hitting well. 3 for 5 yesterday with a double, 3 RBIs. 11 for his last 37 with 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, 3 walks. So I like that. And another one I want to mention, Miguel Sano. He's been hitting his stride a little bit. 2 for 3 yesterday. And it's 4 home runs now on the season. Let's see. Look at second base now. Garrett Hampson, another Rocky. Kind of can go for a Rocky stack. Even the same game, Rockies and Astros stack. Still stay away from Altuve. He's been really struggling this year. He's still the most expensive second baseman, which I don't know how he is. 6,100. He's only hitting 168. 3 home runs. I mean, 517 OPS. I don't know how he's the most expensive second baseman on DraftKings. It just doesn't make sense at all. I mean, nobody's going to pay for him. Nobody's going to pay for him if he wasn't that expensive either, because he's just the way he's been rolling, not doing good. You got Cesar Hernandez against Pittsburgh. Now he's had a pretty solid year so far. 264 average. Yeah, he hasn't hit a home run though, so he's probably not going to be that great of an option because he hasn't had that home run. Maybe he will though. He could end up having his first one. But over the last 10 games, 10 for 44, 4 RBIs. So he hasn't been the greatest lately, but he's off. He was hitting pretty well at the beginning. Third base, I like. You can always go with Justin Turner against the Mariners and Tajon Walker. Anthony Rendon against Cueto and Giants. Jose Ramirez against the Pirates. He has 5 home runs, 3 of the last 10 games. And Nolan Arenado at home against the Rockies. I mean, against the Astros. And Yohan Makata against Mize and the Tigers. And Makata's had 3 home runs in the last 10, 9 RBIs. So he's been pretty solid this year. 2 for 5 with a home run on Monday. You go with Machado. If you want to stack Machado and Tatis, maybe you can stack some other guys in there like Hosmer, Cronenworth, who's been on fire. So that's a potential stack as well that I like. And let's see here. What else did I say? Kyle Seager as well. I like actually against Urias and the Dodgers. That's one guy in the lineup that you can definitely go with. One guy that's not been terrible, and he was 3 for 4 with a home run, a stolen base, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored on Monday against the Dodgers. Only 1 for 4 yesterday, but Monday's game was good enough to get. He scored 31 points on DraftKings, so I could see him doing something similar to that, doing some things, getting some points on DraftKings. So I like him. He's a more cheaper option, $3,700 only. So want to go with the value route. If you want to pay up, my favorite is probably Rendon against Cueto or Turner against Walker. But Rendon's been hitting his stride here. 5 home runs in his last 10 to put his total to 6 on the year, and he's been 7 for his last 15 over the last 4 games, and 13 for his last 34 over the last 10. So that's very good. As I said, 5 of those hits were home runs. So yeah, he's been really good. And Cueto has been, Cueto. We know what Cueto is. But I'm gonna see. Let's see, shortstops. Tatis. I mentioned Tatis, and Tim Anderson's another one I like. And for shortstop, he has been on fire. 4 home runs in the last 10, which included back-to-back days he hit home runs. He had 2 home runs on Monday and 1 yesterday. So he scored 28 points and 33 points on those back-to-back days. And his last 10 games, he's 17 for 39 with 4 home runs. So he's been on a roll. And the White Sox is a stack. Of course, I said you just got to keep rolling them out there. They're still cheap. They're still very, very cheap. It's just like insanity at this point. And if you're insane if you don't pay up. I mean, if you don't pay for them for that as cheap, if they don't use a stack of them as cheap as they are. The most expensive is Grandal at 4,700, which is also what Tim Anderson and Yohan Makata are. And then you go 4,400 for Robert, who, let's see here. He just said he should be in the lineup today. Yesterday he didn't do anything, 0 for 3, but that's another option. He should be in the lineup because he actually he had right-hand soreness yesterday, but the x-rays came back negative. But maybe they will take him out of the lineup just as a precaution or just to give him rest. So definitely just keep an eye on that. And then also Grandal left the lineup or left the game Monday because of lower back stiffness and was on the bench Tuesday. So he also might not be in the lineup today. He probably won't be because he's probably going to be sitting for a couple days. So, but Tim Anderson is going to be there. Yohan Makata is going to be there. Eloy Jimenez he was 0 for 4 as well. So both him and Robert had days off. I mean, not days off, but they had off days at the plate. But if both of them in the lineup, or even just one of them, I've definitely got to roll with one of them or both of them if they're both in the lineup. But at least one of them, because after off days, I think they're gonna hit the ground running today after having no hits yesterday. I mentioned Abreu, and there's also some even cheaper option in Encarnacion, which people tend to stay away from. He's not been having a great year, but maybe he can get some better at bats in there, potentially do some damage against a pitcher making his debut. Even Danny Mendick uh, is a potential option. Only one home run so far, but he did hit a home run on Monday, so you can always roll him out. Maybe only 2,400. So I mean, if you go with him and he pays off, that's insane. That's huge. That's very huge. So those are guys in the White Sox stack that I like. I guess I'll say some more outfielders I like too, along with what I said with Soto. I like Nelson Cruz. He's been great. 2 for 3 on Monday. He didn't have any hits yesterday, but maybe he can come back and bounce back for another solid day. And Yelich, I like today after not doing anything yesterday. Did score a run, walked 3 times. So he did do something, but nothing really as far as DFS goes. Only 8 points. 3 walks is not going to give you much as far as points goes. And 1 run scored, but that's also the potential to do that. He's always somebody that can get walked a lot because of the fact the lineup he has around him is, I mean, insanely terrible. It's pretty bad. So he's probably going to be pitched around a lot and not going to be able to put up that many points because of that. So probably he's a guy you could probably stay away from in DFS. Maybe not as much in daily. I mean, not daily in year-round fantasy, but in DFS, it's kind of tough with him because he's not going to get anything around him to be able to have the opportunities to score, to drive in runs and score runs. So yeah, I like those guys. I like Jock Peterson against the Dodgers. I mean against the Mariners. 4,300. He's been rough this year though, but he's definitely a guy you can roll out there against a bad team. Maybe he'll hit some strides here. So he's only had a 159 average. He's averaging 5.5 points a game on DraftKings. So, but I think he can turn the corner a little bit here, especially facing the guy that he is. I like Michael Conforto, 2 for 3, double, walk, 3 runs, 2 RBIs on Wednesday or on last. Well, that was last Wednesday. I'm looking at the wrong thing here, but 2 for 3, or 1 for 3, 2 runs scored, a walk yesterday. 11 for his last 34. Still just has 3 home runs on the year, but I think he can start getting some more production. He's been pretty solid. Eddie Rosario, at the Twins potential stack, I think he was 0 for 4 yesterday. But 3 home runs over the last 10, 8 for 37, 6 runs scored. So he's somebody in there that I can definitely see rolling with. So those are offense. I mean, those are hitters, outfielders. Franmil Reyes, he's also been great. He ended up being in the lineup yesterday after, going down the other day with potential injury, but he's fine and he was back in the lineup yesterday as a DH. And over the last 10, he's 17 for 37, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, 7 runs scored, and averaging over those last 10, 13.1 points a game. And on 16th, which was, what the hell day was that? I don't know. Let's see. Sunday. Sorry, that was Sunday. He scored 33 points, 3 for 4, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, 2 runs. Yeah, he was great that day. I think he can do some more damage. He's still facing the Pirates after yesterday. They're in that series with the Pirates. He went over 4 yesterday, but he'll be able to. I think he'll be able to put some damage up on the board again today against who were they facing again? Against Brault. Yeah, Stephen Brault for the Pirates. So I could definitely see him do damage against him. So yeah, Matt Kemp, even a possibility in Colorado. He was out of the lineup yesterday, but he could come back in the lineup. And now in Colorado, it's always a good matchup. I mean, good play for anybody, really. That's a cheaper option, 4,000, but maybe not. That's only if you. That's only like a flyer option. Like not really somebody you go with a lot, but maybe go with him in one cash game or something, just to go roll with be a little different because he's probably not going to be the most owned person. I mean, no, most owned player. Obviously, it's going to be really low. I'd probably say even 2%, especially since he hasn't played. He wasn't in the lineup yesterday. So yeah, those are some outfielders I like. I like those, and I mentioned stacks already. Uh, I mentioned the Padres, potential Dodgers, of course, as always. Um, I'd probably stay away from the Yankees, even though I always kind of say the Yankees. But facing Glass now is pretty tough against them. It was pretty tough in general. I mean, he hasn't faced the lineup that much either, and the Yankees kind of tend to struggle against guys they haven't faced much. So probably stay away from that. It's going to be probably more of a pitcher's duel. I mean, even though Glasnow's been struggling to start the year, I think he's going to find something today, maybe. So I don't know if I'd roll with that out. But maybe you could. Maybe you could. Because you could always hit on the Yankees a lot of times. So, but today could be one of those days where they struggle. But yesterday they lost, so I think they scored 3 runs. They had a lot of chances to score runs. So today they could definitely end up coming out bashing against the pitcher who's been struggling, but maybe could find something. So I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence with that one. I think it might end up being more of a pitcher's duel with Cole and Glass now going at it. Maybe more of a low scoring game, maybe something like 5-4 or something like that. 3-2. I don't know. 4-2, 5-2. I don't know, something like that. So I don't know. Not really sure what to think about that one. But yeah, I like, of course, Colorado and the Astros. I like that stack. Both those stacks in Colorado. I like the Indians against the Pirates, and maybe even the Mets against the Marlins. So those are, of course, White Sox. Keep rolling over with the White Sox, as cheap as they are. Just take a look at the ownership in whatever in the tournaments you play in or whatever. But they've been pretty low in ownership actually. Like they haven't really been owned that much, which is crazy. The way that their offense has been going. I don't know how people aren't using them as much. But yeah, those are some stacks I like. So hopefully win some cash. So good luck today. Today and then tomorrow I'll probably be back with Joey again, or maybe Frank even, or somebody else. So yeah, just continue listening to these for your daily DFS advice, and hopefully you've been winning some cash. I've been struggling a little bit, so I don't know if you've been listening to my picks. You're probably not doing good either because my picks a lot of times I use the ones I say. So I haven't been doing great. I've been struggling a little bit. As I said, I broke even a few days ago, and that was basically it. I haven't won anything on any tournaments, cash games, anything. Like I don't know these. Like I have some guys that hit, some guys that just completely tank. Because I had Tim Anderson give me 28 points the other day, and some other guys give me points, but then the rest of the lineup had nothing. Because yesterday I had Eloy, and he did nothing, and I had a lot of guys in there that didn't do anything. And I wish I started Kenta Maeda in more lineups. I only started him in one. I wish I just rolled with him with every lineup because I almost had a no hitter, and he put up whatever 54 points or something like that on DraftKings. Maybe less. It was like 40, maybe like 40 something. But either way, I feel sick not starting him in more lineups. But I mean, I think it wouldn't have mattered anyway because I was kind of far. I was pretty far off with all the other ones because all the hitters didn't do anything. Like I didn't have. I don't think I had anybody who scored that many points. So yeah, it's been a struggle, but I hope I can get back rolling and get some more hits than just a couple. I mean, I'm hitting on a few, like Gary Sanchez yesterday hit a home run. I started him, so he was good for me. And Ian Happ, I used him. He was good. And he's still cheap, so that's another option too. I didn't mention as far as the outfielders go. Yeah, he's like I don't even know. Well, actually, no. The Cubs don't even play in that slate today, so he's not an option today for the main slate. But yeah, that's today's episode. Tomorrow we'll be back with another one, as I said, and hopefully soon. I think we're going to be doing maybe a regular episode, just talk about all the stuff that's been happening this season, all the COVID tests and all that stuff, the bubble, the playoffs, other stuff like Tatis and how we need to just let the kids play already and stop complaining about some stupid shit that's not even an unwritten rule. And just like I think it was Jeff Passan who said I would love them. He's my favorite. I think he said something like it's an unwritten rule, or they're unwritten rules, because as soon as you write them down, you can see how stupid and asinine they are. Because literally, who the hell cares? Like, I'm not gonna get into it now, but yeah, this of course me and Joey talked about it yesterday or whatever. One of the other episodes, I think it was yesterday. Oh yeah, it was definitely yesterday. But it's just so stupid. Not only that, but Mike Minor told his team to drop a pop up last year when he was trying to get 200 strikeouts, and probably the easiest pop up in the entire fucking world. It was like, don't catch it, drop it, drop it, drop it. So yeah, there's that, and then also they scored the most points in like history, 30 not points. They scored the most runs in history with 30 in like 2007. So they're hypocrites. They're very much hypocrites. And Tatis was thrown under the bus by his own manager, who had probably the worst response I've ever heard of. A manager is supposed to have your own players back, and you fucking throw them under the bus. You said like, what did he say? He was like, "Oh, he had the take sign on, and then he should have been listening to me. He should have, in that situation, I didn't want to, yeah, whatever. I didn't want to run the score up. Like, shut the hell up. Why would you say that like, instead of just saying something like, I don't know, like having you back if the player like whatever. That's it. That's today's episode, and yeah, stay tuned, and hopefully you're checking these out every day. Hopefully the content's been good. Hopefully I'm not boring you, or hopefully we're not boring you. Hopefully you're getting some good picks here. The ones we give you are work out for you. I mean, I know a few of them have for me. So yeah, thanks for listening as always, and you can never have too much pod tar or DFS. Peace out. Start Mike Trout.